Welcome everybody back to the channel where pixels punch you harder than your childhood trauma. Today, we're diving into the 10 most brutal retro bosses out there. The ones that make you scream, sweat, and maybe even snap your controller into two. And yes, we're rating them each with a rage meter of how much I used to rage, of what they did to me, because you know what? They were very, very annoying. Some of these didn't challenge us at all, but some of those did change us. Let's get into it right now with no other than number one, the baddest man in the planet, Mike Tyson from Punch-Out on the NES. Let's start with the champ. Mike Tyson wasn't just a boss, he was a wall of pain. One-hit knockouts, lightning reflexes, and a grin that mocked your every failure. You had to memorize his patterns like a dance where one misstep meant getting KO'd in under 30 seconds. The champ, Mike Tyson, was the most annoying boxer I think in any single Punch-Out game. And I've played Punch-Out, Super Punch-Out, and the Punch-Out for the Wii as well, and he was probably the hardest one of them all. I honest to God have to give you a rage meter of a 5 out of 5 to the champion, the baddest man on the planet, Mike Tyson. I almost broke my controller in half of the time. I was pissed, I was yelling, I was a little kid going nuts. But number two, talking about going nuts here, we're gonna go a little bit more into some psychological powers. A game that we're gonna be playing very soon, which is no other than Psycho Mantis from Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation. This guy didn't just fight you, he read your mind. He scanned your memory card, made your controller vibrate, and forced you to switch controller ports mid-fight. It was genius, it was creepy, and it was infuriating if you didn't know the trick. Psycho Mantis was one of these characters that I was like, what in the world do you want me to do? He's like, I can read your mind. You like Castlevania. You don't save often. You save too much. Your memory card is full. Bro, what in the world? I was like, I think like what, 18, 19, like in that type of age range. I was like still in high school. Well, 17 then. And he was just like insane of a character out there. I had to give him a range meter of, let's give him a 4 out of 5 for Psycho Mantis, because I think he was just like one of those characters that you just had to like honestly experience it yourself if you haven't. Number three, and I think number three is one that really hit me right in the chest when I was a kid. I was in high school, and I think me and all my friends and all the guy friends cried. But it's no other than Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII. Sephiroth was the final exam of RPG bosses. Multi-phase battle, devastating magic, and the haunting one-winged angel theme that made you feel like you were fighting a god. If you weren't maxed out, you were maxed out. Look, Sephiroth was one of those characters that took away Ares, and then when you fought him at the end and the song came on, dun 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 dun, I'm not gonna sing it, but that song just made it iconic. He is one of the baddest like bosses I've ever fought in my life. I have to give him a 5 out of 5. I had some trouble with him in the beginning because I kind of rushed through it. So the issue I had, and it's a quick story. I played Final Fantasy VII. I passed the part where you get Vincent. My friend goes, oh, you can't get Vincent again. So I started the game all over again, but then I speed rushed through it just to get Vincent. So when I fought Sephiroth, I wasn't a high enough level, so I had to redo a bunch of stuff. Kind of sit in the golden saucer just to do a couple things. So yeah, Sephiroth was very, very hard. One of those type of characters that if you played him back in the day, you knew how iconic it was. But now going into iconic, we go into a lord, not Lord Farquaad, but Lord Wu Farquaad from Banjo-Tooie on the N64. Yes, that's his real name, Lord Wu Farquaad. This underwater monstrosity had electric attacks, glowing boils, and a camera that actively worked against you. You're dodging, aiming, and gasping for air, literally and emotionally. The one reason why this boss, and I'm gonna give a rage meter of a 4 out of 5. that was annoying was on the N64, for some reason, camera angles were a thing that they kind of didn't understand how to do them at that time. So he was one of those very, very annoying characters that you fought and you think, oh, it was just annoying. Going into some more annoying characters on the N64, which is pretty much a lot of these characters are going to be out here, is no other than Bongo Bongo for the Arcania time on the N64. Disembodied hands, invisible body, a drum beat of doom. Bongo Bongo was a fever dream of frustration, especially with that floaty N64 targeting system. You had to stun both hands, then shoot the eye, all while bouncing on a giant drum. Again, N64, camera angles from hell. Give you a 5 out of 5 on this one also, because Bongo Bongo for Arcania time was one of those characters that you would think Ganon would be the hardest one, because Ganon in the Super Nintendo was annoying as hell, because you had to like line up the 2 fires, you had to hit him, you had to take out your arrow and then shoot him, and it was like, ugh. But this one was just on top of that to another level, and honestly it was stressful. I mean, very, very stressful. I mean, it was fine, everything was fine. It was just like that little dog, everything's fine.
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently.
But no, it was not fine. It was never fine. My childhood, I swear to God, I am 43. I was born in 82. Go through a lot of trauma. The trauma you guys are getting right now for these games like Fortnite and stuff like that is nothing from what we experienced. But the next one that we didn't experience also, which is terrible, from the N64 back we go to again, Mother Demon for Doom 64. Circle strapping, projectile spam, and zero forgiveness. The Mother Demon was the final boss that made you question your reflexes and your sanity. If you didn't have the Unmaker fully powered, good luck against this boss. The Doom guy cried, we all cried. Give this boss a 4 out of 5. Mother Demon was annoying as hell. And I know we played it on the PC and all that, but the N64 version was just annoying. Again, zero forgiveness. If you didn't have the most powerful weapons out there, you were going to struggle against this boss. Another one that we struggle against is no other than back in the N64. I mean, N64, you really give us a lot of troubles out there. But Altar Phase 2 from Bomberman 64. Precision bomb placement, chaotic movement, and the second phase that felt like a fever dream. Altar's final form was a test of patience and timing. One wrong move and you're blown to bits. You're putting bombs on a map. If you don't know where to put them, it is explosive rage, literally. 5 out of 5, most annoying boss out there. I am terrible at placing bombs. I get antsy, so I'm running and I put it down, and I'm running somewhere else, and I put another one down, and I get screwed up, and I'm running back, and I blow myself up, or they blow me up. And it's just, it was too much for a game like Bomberman. If you enjoy Bomberman, let me know down below. If there's any games out here that you have not heard yet that you think the boss was impossible, and I'm talking about maybe some bosses like maybe, you know, Jason from Friday the 13th. That's where we're playing very soon for Halloween. It could be maybe the bosses from Home Alone too, because I mean, that luggage out there was one of the hardest bosses out there as well. But we're into something a little different right now. Like back in the day, back. We're into that little joystick with the one button. Yeah, we're talking about the Atari 2600. And no, I'm not talking about Joust, right? Where every time I think that I actually beat the person, I actually got killed. But no, we're talking about the Beast in Crawl for the Atari 2600. Pixelated terror. The Beast moved erratically, punished hesitation, and had no mercy. For its time, this was pure chaos. You had to hit him with the glaive while dodging everything else on screen. Look, I'm gonna give this one as a rage meter of a 3 out of 5 because Atari didn't have the best graphics out there or anything like that, but it was a retro jank meets real pain. I mean, out of all the games that you play back there, I mean, we had Pitfall back in the day. What was the other one I used to play? Food Fight was another one for the Atari. That was another one that was annoying as hell. But the Beast and Crawl, man, Atari, you really nailed the cake on that one, because that was probably one of my little bosses back in the day that really messed me up when I was a kid. And if we're looking at people that mess you up, We beat Star Fox for the Super Nintendo. But have you ever played Star Fox 64 on expert mode and gone against Andros? Yeah, we're gonna talk about that one right now. On number 9 on our list, that floating head, giant hands, laser eyes, laser beams. Andros in expert mode was a full-on bullet ballot. You had to dodge, shoot, and survive his true form, a grotesque brain with tentacles. No pressure at all. I'm gonna give this one a 4 out of 5. I think after this game, Fox McCloud needed some therapy. That's why we got the GameCube games out there that, you know, you were playing not in the ship as much, you were playing more just walking around and more of the, you know, Mario Galaxy style, because Fox was going nuts when he played against Andros. And I think that was like one of those bosses that the first one for the SNES was annoying as hell, that big head. But on the N64, that just took a cake on it. So if you have not played the N64 version of Star Fox 64, I highly recommend it. I'm not sure if the Nintendo Switch has it on their N64 or yeah, if they have it on the N64, I gotta check that out. If they do, maybe I might stream it. Who knows? We'll see if we play that one. People say that Goofy is dating a cow. All right, Goofy's a dog, he's dating a cow, that's what we all think. But with one cow that I cannot stand, all right, or one gym leader for the Game Boy Color, Pokemon Gold or Silver was Whitney. She's not a final boss, she's worse. Whitney's milk tank used rollout like a wrecking ball, sweeping your team before you even knew what hit you. And when you finally beat her, she cried and refused to give you a badge. You've heard the guy goes, emotional damage, no badge. I give you a 5 out of 5, the most stressful boss there is out there. Like, we're all here like, oh, we got Pikachu, we got Coffin, we got Mewtwo, we got this. No, we got a milk tank freaking cow with a bunch of whatever milking stuff that just knocked you out and your whole entire team with no problem. Pokemon Red and Blue had nothing compared to what Pokemon Gold and Silvers gave us when we fought against Whitney to get that badge. So there you have it. 10 retro bosses that made us rage harder than a dial-up connection during a download. Do you remember your grandma used to pick up the phone and go, oh yeah, trying to make a phone call, and it's, your whole entire internet goes on, you're like, no, my friends from AOL are gone. Now you have to press the whole entire thing and do it all over again. But I want to know which one broke you the hardest. All right, drop your war stories in the comments below. Let me know which boss of these or anyone else out there from the retro era that made you just shake your mind and go, what in the world's going on? All right, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss any more nostalgic meltdowns. Obviously, also, we have our new Legend of Troll, the Retro Fantasy hat. You can get that down below in our merch store. Love you all. Peace out, Retro Warriors. I'll see you guys in the next one. And happy Halloween. And we're ready to get a little spooky out there.